Let's get into a great conversation here at the desk tonight. The reigning champ on a Thursday night, as always, is Bronwyn Bishop. Bronwyn, lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Chris Smith is ready to kick ass. He's had his own show and now he's coming back for more.
I've got to calm down. You've pumped me up too much, mate.
I've got you ready to run into that brick wall.
I'm going to come away from the mic.
The wonderful Rita Panahi, who we love oh so much, is joining us, of course, from Melbourne. How are you, rock star, the Persian princess, and Mr. Queensland, well, making the most of the white shoes on the GC. Just cleaning the joint up for me on the 17th when I'll be the first fat bloke over that border. I'll be leaping over it there. Well, slowly smoking my way across. Of course, the great Peter Gleeson. Now, before we get to anything else, big news day tomorrow, and being a Friday, it's not always a good news day, right? Especially Friday, December, Christmas parties look the other way. The Labor Party will actually, apparently, release its climate policies. Now, of course, there's that small matter of them being potentially in government next year and saying they'd have to go back, report to the rest of the world about a better target than the federal government on 2030. Now, of course, they claim they may not actually come up with a number while criticising the government for having a number. But as we know, the best case scenario Labor hardheads think is that it'll be a Labor minority government, which means this bloke will decide the number after you vote.
Given Australia will be required to update our targets in Egypt next year, will you take a 75% by 2030 target to the next election? Or is the only way we're going to get science-based climate targets to kick your terrible government out and put the Greens in balance of power?
Nothing to see here, Chris. You've been around in the business for a while. If you're making a big policy announcement in a controversial area on a Friday afternoon, you don't want anyone to notice.
Correct. Try and get a number between 40, which is what maybe Albo will come up with, 40. It's less than 45 from Shorten. It's above 35 from Morrison. Get 75, which is the 75 you've got to agree to if you're coming together as a coalition. So somewhere between 75 and 40 is like about 58 or 59. That's what the coalition of Greens and Labor will come up with. If you're a Liberal Party or National Party MP and you are not yelling that out and reminding every constituent every day, all the way to the election, you are not worth being in government.
Absolutely. Bronwyn, this is the thing, right? They will come up with the magical landing place, but the reality is that they can't pass a piece of legislation without the Greens in the upper house. If the number ain't good enough, they're going to reject it, just like they did the Rudd policies of 2009, remember?
Absolutely, I remember it extremely well. But the problem is that Glasgow and Morrison put lead in the government's saddlebags. And it's got to go.
About 50, not 30.
And it's got to go on a different agenda. Right. It's got to fight to say that we want to take lead out of our saddlebags. You talked at great length in your editorial about the debt that we've got, about the problems we've got and have to come to terms with. I've talked here a lot about first submarines. We were successful there. I've talked a lot about a big red pencil. We need it here. But when we come to debate the Labor Party on whatever figure it is, Chris is quite right in saying you have to say that it's going to be larger than whatever it is. But unfortunately, the sting has gone out of it. So the real action in the lead up to the election has to be on the economy, and it has to be on getting the country so that we can see the initiative of the Australian people blossom again, so that we can see us going back to doing things for ourselves, not de-skilling ourselves, see us improve our education system. Funny thing about a good education minister being knocked out, isn't it? Someone who is going to stand up on the curriculum.
What a surprise.
Amazing, really.
Yeah, correct.
So all these things are coming together. There is a barrage there against the government, and the government, there is a way through. There is a way through, a plan. But it's a very difficult one, and that's why I say we have got to be on the agenda that says take the lead out of the saddlebags and let the Australian people prosper.